What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back. Today, I'm talking about Love Forms by Claire Adams. Let's just get into it. So, if y'all are not new here, then you know I recently joined a book club where we are reading the Booker LongList. So, we're reading 13 books over the course of 12 months. And this is not one that's been, it's not one that we've discussed yet. It's just, it became available at the library. And I was like, sometimes, that's when you got to read it when it's available. So let's discuss this one. This book, Love Forms by Claire Adams. I don't know. Like when I first, okay, let me back up. When I first heard about this book and first like read the synopsis, I think I saw like one or two reviews. I thought, it don't seem that good. Like it seemed okay, but people were saying like it wasn't that good. And then, I was like, who knows? Well, we're going to read it anyway because we committed to the cause. So I got it and read it. And then I talked to other people. After I read it, I then talked to other people that read it. And I was one of the very few that actually liked this book. I liked it. And like we were talking back and forth, and they like the reasons that they didn't like it was the reasons that I liked it. They was like, it's boring. Yes, but like dig deeper. Like, yes, it's boring, but like, why is it boring? Yes, she is being obsessive, the main character, but like, why? Like, it's not the best book I've ever read. I'm not saying that, but it was enjoyable. It's not the worst book from the Book of LongList that I've read. That's for sure. It ain't the worst. It's not even in my lowest tier yet. And what can I say? Let me just tell you what it's about if you don't know. The main character of this book, her name is Dawn, and she was born and raised in Trinidad, and she got pregnant at the age of 16 from a one-night stand, basically. She got pregnant, and she was a white girl, rich. Her parents sent her off, hauled her off in the middle of the night to Venezuela to continue on her pregnancy, to have that baby, and to immediately get a baby up for adoption, okay? And so you kind of see, like, Dawn tell her story about that experience, and then you get a flash to the future. So it's like flashbacks from when Dawn was 16. She's going over what happened. And then you have present day Dawn, who's 58 years old, and she is dealing with the aftermath of that, trying to remember all the details she can. She's at a point now where she has 2 full-grown sons. She's a divorcee. She has moved to London, and she's seeking her adopted daughter. So she's on the blog, she's on the website, probably on Reddit, and she's trying to figure out how to get reconnected with her birth daughter. The thing is, she barely knows any details. So you kind of go over like what that looks like for Dawn. And what happens with that, and how it affects Dawn personally, how it affects the people around her, her mama, her dad, and her brothers, because she does have brothers. And she's been holding on to what she thought was like this super big secret, and just what that looks like, okay? There's not a lot of, I see why people call it boring, because there's not a whole lot happening here. Outside of what I just said, which is in the synopsis, that's what the book is. Like, there's a little bit of things here and there. They're going to explain some details, but there's not a whole lot happening in this book. But you get a glimpse into Dawn's head, and then you get a glimpse into your head. That's what I like. Like, I was sitting here thinking, like, yeah, you just think about things that you did in the past, and how healing and your memory and everything is just like, it's circular. You know what I mean? And she's at a spot where she's trying to heal from her past, and she's trying to like make peace with everything. She's seeking freedom almost, in a sense. She's seeking repentance in a way and trying to find purpose. Like, what's her life look like now? What does it feel like to grieve what you did, to grieve what you never had, to blame your parents for their portion, to blame you for your portion, to always wonder what if, like, what does that look like? And is it liberating? Is it like a freedom, or is it more like a prison? And you know, like, what do you do? What do you do? You're living, you're still going on, and how do you want the rest of those days to continue, kind of thing. And so you see that, you see her fighting for grief, not fighting for it, fighting against it. You see her trying to, like, just grapple with everything around her. You also, this is a historical fiction. You get a really good idea of the history of Venezuela and the history of Trinidad, and you understand, like, those relations, the relations between, like, the war during that time, between, like, when things kind of shifted. You kind of get an idea of, like, the carnival there, and when that shifted, how different classes of groups look at different things, the role of gender in this age, because this takes, well, Don had the baby in the 80s in Trinidad. And so you see 80s Trinidad and Venezuela, and then you kind of see, you know, later on when she's 58, you see how her kids are dealing with that and how it affects her relationship with her current kids. And just everybody involved, you know, her mama, her daddy. It's not a super transformative book. It's a very reflective book. Like, you almost want to root for, you do want to root for Dawn. Like, you want her to just, whatever it is she's looking for, you want her to find it, because you want her to find that peace. You want her to find freedom. And then you really wish the best for whoever her daughter was that she gave birth to at 16. You wish that she's living, like, her best life. And, you know, it's a situation where whatever family she ended up in is full of love. And you kind of see, in some ways, you kind of see some possibilities of what could be, what couldn't be, and some things like that. So, yeah. And then the ending of this book, I feel like this is one of the things that I was talking to somebody in my DMs about. They hated the ending of this book. They said, you know, the whole book was boring. They felt like it was leading up to a point, and then it just kind of didn't get there. I get why they said the book was boring. There wasn't a lot going on. But I found the ending satisfying. And there lies the beauty of reading and individual readers, because you're going to get something different than your next man. Maybe. And if you do, it's great, because, like, different things work for different people. And this ending worked for me. I felt like, to me, it was a type of closure. And they felt like they didn't get any closure from it. And I was like, I see it. Like, I see the closure. I see, like, I like the way that it ended up. It was realistic to a certain degree for me. And I just thought it was woven together well. I like the writing style. Like I said, I like the history woven into this book. It was historical without feeling like info dumpy. So I appreciated that. You see, it's not that long. So it's a quick read, quick-ish. Let's see how long it is. 271 pages. I guess kind of quick. And then the author herself is Trinidadian. So I thought it was a good book. Let me know what y'all think. So far, it's only been a couple books from the book and long list that I read that I didn't really like. Cough, cough. Misinterpretation. I ain't gonna say I didn't like it, but so far it's at the bottom of my list. But anyways, I'm excited to continue to read this list. Next, I'll be reading Flashlight, because that is what we're discussing in our next book club meeting. So, Flashlight by Suzanne Choi. And I've started that already. It's interesting. I feel like it's a totally different type of book than this. It's a totally different writing style. The feels are totally different. So I'm excited to be reading that after, you know, just reading this. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Let me know if you've read it, what you think about it. Are you agreeing with me that you liked it? It was a satisfying ending, or are you like, no, it's boring? and the ending wasn't what it needed to be. Let me know. Let me see y'all on the next one.